Hi everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. It's a nice day out, so what do you say we do some old tractor driving? First one we're going to take for a spin is this 1940 Ford 9N. It's a pretty cool machine. It's in really nice shape. It came from a golf course, so it was never left outside. It was never really abused all too much anyway. It's had a few nasty modifications done over the years, but that happens to a lot of them. You can see the level box shaft has been welded together. Some genius has welded a boat steering wheel onto it. But aside from that, those are just minor things that we can easily fix. Anyway, let's take her for a spin. Alrighty, the fuel is open. Ignition is on. Look at that. This thing's got such good oil pressure. It's not even running and it's holding steady at 55. You don't get that every day. Whoop. There we go. We'll go in second gear. This engine just purrs. Let's put her in third, eh? Governor responds nicely. Got lots of power. No smoke. This thing's a sweetheart. See if that thing's still running when it's 80 years old like this thing. And up into the barn we go. Now I'll just let her run for a minute, run the gas out of the carburetor till it quits. And she'll be good to sit up here for a little while longer. We're gonna fix this one up nice one day. I'm gathering up parts. Next up is this 1947 Ford 2N. Now, you'll notice, like many old 2Ns, it's supposed to be all gray, but it's painted red and gray like an 8N. But there's a reason for that. In the summer of 1947, when 8Ns started showing up at the Ford tractor dealers with their flashy, bright red and mossy gray sheet metal, the tractor dealers all started screaming, said, what in the world are we supposed to do with all these old gray 2Ns? We'll never get rid of them. Nobody wants them. So the factory actually issued a letter to all the dealers instructing them to paint leftover 2N inventory like the incoming 8Ns. And this is what you see here. This was not painted by some guy in his driveway. This is a red belly paint job done by the dealer in 1947. If you really get at it and get looking on the kind of paint job that I would do, you'll always see in a little corner somewhere there'll be paint over top of some grease that you missed getting cleaned off. But this tractor, nowhere is that evident. This is an old 1947 red belly paint job. Anywhere where the red is coming off, it's shiny, brilliant gray paint underneath. That's really cool. So I'm inclined to leave this like this. I don't think I will ever paint this tractor. It's just too cool. Anyway, let's take it for a spin. When I got it, the key switch was long gone. Somebody had put this toggle switch in there, but it works. and the oil pressure gauge was shot. I can't remember what was wrong with it. Either it didn't work. Oh, look at this. Can you see this? Look. Look, a 2CV. Isn't that adorable? And anyway, back on topic. I put this oil pressure gauge in it, but I'm very happy. It tells me happy things. And then somewhere along the line, somebody cut an extra hole for some extra gauge. I don't know what the heck they had in there. I do have a good dash panel for it, so if I ever was to fix it up, I'd probably just replace the dash panel. But I kind of think for now that I might just get a matching set of gauges for it, an amp meter, an oil pressure gauge, and a temperature gauge, and let it be. Anyway, let's get this thing cranked up. This is also equipped with a Sherman transmission, although we don't know what Sherman transmission we have because the shifter doesn't work or the Sherman is blown up or something. We'll get to that one day. Come on. Needs some choke. There we go. You can hear that humming. That's the hydraulic pump. Up comes the lift. All right. Let's take this baby for a spin. R is for racing. There we go. Whoops. Did it just run out of gas? It might have. Yep. Just ran out of gas. Let me put this thing on the reserve. That's the one beauty with these old things. The fuel valve has two positions. So you can run out of gas and then you put the thing on the reserve and you can make it back to the barn to get some fuel. Come on, baby. There we go. We're back in business. Put her in second gear and let her roll. I just love the way the gears and the transmissions on these old things whine. Here's my buddy the vulture, see if he flies away. There he goes. We'll just do a lap here and go parking with the other ones. My lawn is pretty bouncy, eh? I told you, this one's a sweetheart. I bought this from a guy in Indiana. Yes, I drove to Indiana to buy a 2N. Story was, it was on eBay, and back in those days, our money was literally at par. So he only had a couple of pictures of it, and in the picture, it was sitting with a big wooden block under the oil pan, and the front wheels were off, the hubs were off, the spindles were out of it. But I could see by the other picture that it had back wheels and everything else was complete. So nobody bid on this thing. I got it for like a couple of $100. And I could tell by the pictures that the sheet metal on it was primo perfect, you know. So yeah, we went down to Indiana to get this thing. And when I got there, I took as much parts as I could to put the front end back together to make sure I could get it up on my trailer. But when I got there, the guy had everything sitting there. It literally took me 15 minutes to put it all back together and winch it up on the trailer. When we got it home, all it took to get it running was the usual stuff. I had to clean the points. I had to clean out the gas tank and freshen up the carburetor, and the thing started right up. It's a beautiful little tractor. And the beautiful tires that are on it now were on it when I got it, it was worth the drive to Indiana, I'll tell you that. Now let's take Trusty Rusty for a ride. This is a 1950 8N. It's a late 1950 because it's got a side distributor and the better steering box and the proof meter. Alright, I'm not sure if it'll go without the choke, but let's see. Come on. No, hang on, I gotta put the phone down. Okay, here we go. She's running now. Oh, had the parking brake on. Hopefully it'll work this time. Here we go. This one's always been a little temperamental when it's cold. I could probably screw the power needle out just a tiny bit. But anyway, once it warms up, it's okay. So this one has a Sherman combination in it. Right now we're in low range, in third gear. I could stop and put it in high range and you'll see the difference. It goes like a bat out of hell. In fourth, out on the road, I think it goes 24 miles an hour. Fast enough, that's for sure. Let's try second. That's second gear in overdrive. And we can use our foot throttle. I kind of like that. We'll just park it here beside the Deuce. Pretty cool. The Fergusons are unique in that the starter is a position on the shifter. This one sounds the meanest of all of them. It's got a real growl to it. I love this one. Very first tractor I ever had was a 1952 Ferguson, and I always regretted selling it. I found this one in basically the junkyard out back of the Massey Ferguson dealership. And the guy sold it to me. It didn't have any sheet metal or nothing like that. But it did have the Sherman Live PTO in it, which I took out for the old Ford. And I love this. My honest opinion, the Ferguson is all around a better machine than a Ford, but the Ford is a lot more cheap to keep running because there's so many parts for them around. So I love my Ferguson. The 8N that we were just driving, that's the very first 8N that I ever bought. Until then, I'd always had Fergusons and 2Ns. And I answered a want ad and I pulled that out of a swamp. Literally pulled it out of a swamp. It looked pretty much like it looks now. And when we fixed it all up, we just decided that we didn't want to paint it. We would just leave it how it looked, because it's just too cool. That kind of patina you can't fake. You see all these guys now with the fake patina? That's real patina. Does this thing run nice? Slow her right down. You'll just sit here and idle like that all day. This is a great engine in these Fergusons. So anyway, that was fun to do some tractor driving. I haven't had any of these things out all last summer with the pandemic, and we had some other stuff going on. I just never really got a chance to muck around with stuff, but it was good to get these things out. They all started right up. I'm very happy about that. Even the old green 9N that we drove first, that thing had been sitting in the barn. It has to be 5 or 6 years since the last time it ran, and all I really had to do was put some gas in it and throw a battery in it, and it cranked right up. That's why these things are so great. They're just awesome machines. Anyway, hope you had fun riding around on old tractors. I sure did. And it's just kind of a funny little video about nothing, really. But anyway, hope you'll tune in next time and see what else we're doing around here at the Claremont Classic Garage. So long for now.